second quarter we could start to see an improvement?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all the indications, even in the first quarter, weren't that bad. And I think clearly the market's taking a glass half empty sort of approach to things, considering, I suppose, the outlook, the tighter monetary policy, that fight for, to contain inflation has really impacted sentiment. But, China's always been there, certainly for 2023, as the real driver of growth. And so far, we've seen some really good signs. Domestic travel has been, quite strong in the first quarter, and we think there's another leg up for that through the second quarter, which will occur at the same time as we see those OPEC supply cuts implemented and other sort of ongoing supply side issues, which should tighten the market up fairly considerably.
So the commodity players that you'll be looking at for China are really still much more on the consumer services travel side as opposed to the resumption of any kind of, I guess, industrial strength. Yeah,
I think so, yeah. So certainly, diesel demand in itself will remain relatively muted within China because of that subdued sort of outlook for industrial activity, and that's why we're a little bit more cautious on the industrial sort of metals side in particular. But certainly energy, I think, has quite some upside to it, particularly over the next couple of quarters, because there have been constraints, particularly on international travel for a lot of Chinese tourists in particular, and that's not just going to benefit Chinese demand, it's the broader sort of Asian market as well, which will really get a boost from that. And I think the easing of restrictions, more visas obtainable by business travellers will certainly benefit that demand over the next few months.
How much of an upside risk could financial risk actually be when it comes to haven assets like gold?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's certainly benefited from it so far, and I suspect we'll see a record high for gold reached in the not too distant future as those issues persist. And it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out between those other risk asset markets, within commodities in particular, because clearly there'll be a point where gold demand will start to ease if we do see, that macro backdrop improve. But until then, I do think that, gold's going to benefit quite substantially from that investor side.